Hey there, Halt Catch fans. Welcome back to the Halt Catch Fire AfterBuzz After Show. We're here to talk about Season 3, Episode 8, You Are Not Safe. We will see you in a second with two special guests.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
There it is, the music to cheer us all up after what we just saw on our TV screens. Why'd you do it, Ryan? My name is Isaac Johnson. You can follow me on Twitter at Isaac Johnson. And once again, I'm joined by Amber Plaster.
Hey guys, my name is Amber Plaster, and you guys can tweet me your predictions and theories and thoughts at Amber Plaster.
Oh, and our special guest, he was on last season. He's back this season. He didn't get enough of the AfterBuzz. Kevin Ross.
Hi, I'm Kevin Ross, and you can follow me at Twitter at Ross Films.
Yes, sir. And we have assistant. Oh, by the way, Kevin edited this episode of Halt Catch Fire. It's his 10th episode, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
And his assistant editor, Kat Naranjo, also joining us.
Yes, hello. You can follow me at catn08 on Instagram.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Yeah,
this is
thanks for
exciting.
It's great.
Yeah.
Should we talk about it right off the top? Well, let's just get feelings first. How are we feeling right now before we dive into the episode? Amber, how are you feeling?
I'm gutted. I'm scandalized every episode, but I'm especially scandalized because I did not expect that to happen, and Kevin here had the audacity to say that I made the prediction that he would take the fall. I didn't mean it like that.
Yeah, maybe not a literal fall there.
Kevin,
how are you feeling about this episode?
I feel really good about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
he's like, it's a beautiful episode. I cut it
It's
so.
a really nice episode.
Yeah, I'd say it's the best edited episode. Kat, how do you feel?
I feel good about it.
Yeah.
I thought it looked cool.
Yeah, I thought it looked very cool. I specifically liked that holding opening shot on Joe's face. I was like, what's going to happen? This seems like some sort of doom.
I knew something was not right when Ryan showed up at Joe's place, when he was hiding from everyone, and then he showed up. I was like, something. Are they gonna have a fight, or like, is Joe gonna manipulate him into doing something? Because Joe was like super concerned, and Joe doesn't really care that much about people. Something was like, alarm bells were going off for that whole scene, but I didn't guess that.
So he hasn't in previous seasons, but I think all of his dealings this season have been completely honest. I think he was completely honest with Ryan about who he was, but Ryan was sort of too caught up in like the mythos of Joe MacMillan that even when he was telling him the truth, he thought like, oh, that means to let the source code go, or that means to apparently drop to my death. I mean, like, he wasn't telling him any of that stuff, but he was so caught up with who he thought Joe would be and trying to impress that Joe that he didn't realize that Joe was like actually looking out for him.
Well, I think it's weird that every year I hear, oh, the villain Joe, bad Joe, but really Joe's one of the most honest characters through all 3 seasons. He's always been true to himself and been honest with what his approach was or what his plans were. But people don't like what that is.
Yeah, well, I mean, he does manipulate as well. We can't miss that. And sometimes serves his own best interest. But I see him, apologizing to Gordon in this episode, really like actually being concerned for Ryan. I thought, well, this is refreshing. He's actually kind of caring about other people.
Right.
I think that Joe, if we had to say anybody in the main cast was a villain, I guess Joe would be a villain in that he is self-serving and he will cut a bitch to get what he wants. He will, but
he's
that
honest about it.
But that doesn't mean that evil or bad characters, if you will, can't have feelings or love for other characters.
Right.
So I think he's just a layered character, and I think he's just going to get what he wants above all else. But he does deeply have a sense of ownership, at least over Ryan, and does care for his puppy a little bit, even though the puppy was way too eager.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've talked about Ryan sort of behaving like a true believer in some ways, of like a fanatic or something like that. All of his sort of like, I mean, even when he's in his apartment, talking to him, telling him like what it would take, and like, look, you can either run or you can fess up to it. 1 to 2 years max, 5 years without the computer. Funny that when he mentions jail time, he's like, well, that sucks. 5 years without a computer? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Can't do it. No way.
That's kind of telling, though, for his his psyche and also his mode of panic, which I think Joe did the right thing and being like, stay here, sleep on it, and we'll like wake up in the morning and like talk about it. And I mean, would you guys have left Ryan alone in that living room? I don't know. He was a little too antsy for me. I would have thought he would have at least run away or something.
Yeah, Kat.
Yeah.
Well, I was. Oh, go ahead. Kat, sorry.
Oh, yeah, I would not have guessed that Ryan would have done something so rash. I just, yeah, maybe he'll like leave, but not what he did.
Yeah.
Did you expect that to happen when the police came to the door? Did you think that they were there to arrest Ryan, or?
To be honest, I knew something was wrong after the commercial break because we start on Donna being Fancy Donna, which I love Fancy Donna, by the way, and we'll get back to Donna.
Hashtag Fancy Donna.
But like they gave us like basically eye candy of like, oh, Donna, like, and I was like, wait, time, wait, what's happened with Ryan? We didn't even see him get the sheets. Maybe he bolts after, Joe has his back turned on him. I don't know. And the fact that they didn't go immediately back to it, I was like, oh, passage of time, that's not good. He probably ran away, or maybe Joe pushed him off a cliff or something. I don't know. But I knew something was off. And then when they showed up and I saw the sheets, I was like, did he do? He did something. I knew something terrible had happened. I just couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, I saw like build up to something terrible happening, but certainly not suicide. I mean, it does make sense with kind of who he's been all season long, but I thought like even so Cameron goes and finds him, and the minute he sees her, he's about to run, and that whole like packet sniffer thing or whatever, which I thought like I'm assuming that's a real thing. I don't know anything about computers, but
I'm sure it is.
Yeah,
my understanding it's real, and I always thought it was funny that like in the past episodes he's like, no, I covered my tracks, I'm on this, and then he finds out all these details he really didn't know, so he's not as smart as
in those days. Like, would somebody have known all the ways they could track you down? I mean, I would imagine there wasn't a lot of that going on.
I don't know if that was possible in 1986 to know all of the ways that someone can track you through a network. I mean, isn't that what he's arguing, is that no one's safe?
Right. Yeah. Well, it's nice that we have this going back in time to understand what his little manifesto was, but he was warning us that the internet's coming and we're not going to be ready for it, which...
that speech at the end was wonderful. I was for a minute there. I was like, is he quoting somebody, or are these all his?
That's his speech.
These are all his words. It was
his last words. Yeah.
It was like the smartest thing that he ever said.
That's right. But I do like that the kid, the guy who is doing the packet sniffer, is someone who looks about the same age as Ryan and goes, kid, you don't know. It's like he was also a hacker.
Exactly, and they would have hired somebody like Ryan, which maybe like if he did the jail time, he could work for the FBI or something.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah,
easily. When he freaks out about the 2 years and then the 5 years without a computer, I was like, child, like you're like you'll be fine. You can do stuff illegally when you get out. I'm sure you'll make video games on the side with Cameron for a few years. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to like start at you don't have to launch at 100%. Like, you can get a little bit of your life back.
I think it goes back to that time when he said he didn't want to miss the train, earlier, and he felt like he was getting left behind. Then 5 years, he's going to be left behind sitting in the station watching the train.
Sure, and he didn't want to like heed the advice of Joe to basically look, you can reinvent yourself. I've done that too, and.
Right.
He was just already on his mission. I thought, like, well, certainly don't leave him alone. Maybe he'll just run out and, like, tell everybody else. Because now he feels, like, betrayed by Joe. He feels like he cut him out of the NSF net thing. So I thought, well, maybe he'll just turn his back on them. But I certainly didn't see suicide. So you guys get to watch, like, probably all of the takes. What are the two of you looking for in either his performance specifically, or what are you looking for in a performance to sort of drive the pace of the scene?
Well, I mean, it just sounds vague, but it's like the truth of the lines, hearing what I have in the scene. But all the actors on Halt Catch Fire give you great takes. So you have a multitude of things to choose from, and it's basically picking the one that they might have put a nuance in that gives you a special look or a pause or a moment that cuts well with the other side of the scene. And I've never had that problem on this show. It's just been like cuts like butter, we like to say. It just really is a nice show to edit.
Oh, I love that. Cuts like butter.
Yeah.
Love it. I love Cameron's, speaking of reactions that were perfect, Cameron's reaction to First of all, Joe showing up at her door, I was like, yes, give me more of that.
Okay, save it for the end.
And then
No.
she's like, I was like,
Did you think they were going to?
I didn't think so, but I keep wanting it to happen.
Yeah, let's save it for the end.
All right, we'll save it for the end.
Yet, quite yet. Kat, is there like anything that surprises you in any takes that when you see them, like the raw footage?
No, not really. I guess what's surprising is the different reads they give and what the options you get to choose from. They're really good at, giving you one way, giving you another. You can play the scene in different ways a lot of times.
Very cool. So why do you stay on a shot of Joe that long? Or are you given that direction, or is that your choice?
It just depends. On this one, it was a lot of the guidance of the director. Director's Reed Morano.
Yeah.
And she's a huge DP, and now she's blossomed into a great director. And I think right now she's doing Handmaid's Tale,
Okay.
a miniseries. She's doing that, and it was just. She never came in to work because she was New York based, and we cut in Los Angeles. But her notes would be, okay, I just want to hold on that shot, and just keep holding it longer than you think you should, you know, and stretch those moments out. And that's what we did in this particular episode, and it worked really well.
Yeah.
She likes staying just on one person and not seeing the reaction as much from the other person. Just stay on the one, stay on Cameron. Just follow her and don't cut to Ryan.
That would be easy to explain in that scene you were talking about when Joe comes to visit. If you notice, a lot of times where you might normally want to cut to a reaction of Joe,
Sure.
you're staying in a shot that's just following Cameron slowly crossing across around the room, and Joe's in the foreground out of focus. And you don't even worry about that. You're just watching her.
And does she explain why specifically she wants to hold on, or is it more because we're looking at either Joe's perspective, or is it?
Well, once you get the idea of that's how she wants to cut the episode, then you try to tailor all the other scenes that way. And
Very
so,
cool.
I mean, there's not like she doesn't vocalize, oh, I want to do it because of this reason. It's just that's just how it's shot.
It's very cool. Like the limited amount that I know about editing, which is from watching like YouTube videos or something like that, because I'm not an editor. Like I was noticing in this episode that there wasn't a lot of sort of like, you'll see like her point of view, cut back to her reaction, and then back to her point of view, which is like a very, from what I know, like classic style of editing. I did notice those changes, and I thought, well, this is cool.
Yeah. A lot of artistic kind of shots in this episode.
Very artistic.
All of Halt Catch Fire has those type of shots.
Definitely.
It truly. I mean, we were discussing earlier that like these shots are just gorgeous.
They really are.
Every episode to episode, I'm just like, how can I watch someone shove a piece of paper across a table and be like, so pretty,
or be riveted by people watching a computer screen waiting for like the, I guess, NASDAQ or whatever that thing was, like the Wall Street, like thing. I'm like, wow, I'm riveted by this scene. They're just staring at it.
Yeah. Well, what's funny about that is that when I edited the show, we didn't have any of those graphics. We didn't have the graphics of the Space Girl, or was it
Space Bike.
Space Bike.
Space Bike.
On that Cameron came up with, or the NASDAQ ticker.
oh, okay.
Those things weren't there. Those were burned in later. And actually, on this particular episode, after I finished it, I went off on vacation with my family, and Kat was still there finishing the visual effects. So she saw them. I never saw them until tonight when we aired it. So it was oh, hey, those look much better than the temp effects we had.
Yeah. No, they're gorgeous.
Well, because specifically, I'm like, that's a fake wasp, right? It's not
And the wasp was...
I thought it was real when it landed on the TV, and then my brain went, how did they get a bug to land right on the TV? Oh, it's
wasp
fake.
wrangler.
Yeah, I'm like, is there such a thing as a wasp wrangler? Maybe they could have.
A string to him.
Yeah, I was like, maybe if it's like a bigger, but I was thinking too much about it.
That effect looked really great.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
But I thought like the way she's following it around the room, I'm like, there's no way.
There's no way.
that would
No.
have happened.
Unless you just had a lot of time and sent a lot of bugs at her.
You never have a lot of time when you're shooting television.
Yeah,
so
I feel like
you
it's...
have to move.
Yeah, we got to get the wasp shot. So let's talk about Gordon and Joe. They are at the end of last episode. We had them finally coming back together. It was a beautiful thing. But now that they're back together, the FBI is at Joe's door daily. It seems like looking for Ryan. I thought there were a lot of like just beautiful moments between the two of them where like Gordon's really testing Joe to find out like if he's really changed or not. But it seems like all of this is authentic from him, and it doesn't take Gordon too long to accept that. I thought that was really wonderful. Is there any reason that why does Gordon trust him so fast? I was trying to figure that out. I mean, he has like a long history of not being able to trust him. Does anybody any thought about that?
I mean, he did give him the money and sign that, the document.
I guess I would have been thinking like Ryan though. Like, how is he? Like, what angle does he have here? Because I kind of know Joe.
You have to remember Gordon's sick.
Yeah.
So he might be a little bit more reckless now than he used to be. It's kind of like, well, who knows how many years I'm going to have left? I'm at least going to go on one crazy ride with this crazy person who I kind of love and respect and fear.
Yeah, and they've always liked each other. I mean, even though they butted heads, but I think even though Gordon was putting on this act, I always felt at the beginning of this season when he was like, I can't believe Joe stole my idea, and this jealousy. But it's like Joe always offered Gordon the opportunity in season 2, and it just always felt like, okay, in the back of Gordon's head, he knows that he turned this down, but he's trying to put this on for show, even though he's suing. That's how I always felt about it. I mean, I never talked to the Chris's, the creators of the show, and asked them, but it's
yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense that I mean, because even Joe mentioned that last episode, he was like, I offered this to you twice and you still didn't take it, even when he's in his place checking out all his stuff there. Like, that makes a lot of sense that he would, I don't know, maybe blame himself a little bit, but at the same time, he was stolen from, so there is some anger there, but I kind of get it. I really liked what was the I'm forgetting. There was like a moment between them that is not coming to
Joe
mind.
and Gordon?
Yeah.
In the computer room? I thought you were a friend.
Well, yeah, that was beautiful. There was a joke in there. And I'm like,
was it the one where he's like asking him, did you ever have
Yes! Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That was fun to come.
Yeah. There was so much of so do you guys did you
moment.
Did you ever
so good.
Was he and I'm just like, just say it, Gordon. I mean, I guess in 1986 it would have been like, I don't know, a weird thing to ask in public.
Yeah. It would have been a weird thing to ask in public until like 10 years ago.
Right.
I mean, it's really the conversation about gay and lesbian people has been like so opened in the last 10 years. Like it would have been I mean, he practically whispered it. You could see he was so uncomfortable. And Joe, like, I think this is why Joe has a reputation of being a villain, because he was like, what?
Yeah, I just don't know what you're talking about.
You should have seen the dailies on that scene. That was great. They would start cracking up, or they would have, because those were a lot of ad libs. That was a lot of different takes cut together to make that work.
Can you say what some of the other stuff was?
I don't know exactly. Maybe you remember, Kat, when we were scripting, but it's just the fact that they would just. Well, they would blur it out sometimes just as a joke to end like, cut, like, did you have sex with him? Or
did you guys ever screw?
Yeah, did you guys ever screw? Or, and Gordon would never say that, but that was Scoot just goofing at the end of the take. But it was pretty funny.
It was so great.
It was just fun to watch Joe, like, just completely toy with him. Just were we ever like, with just deadpan face and just kind of like, just like, you say it first. Like, also, like, what business is it of yours? Like, what do you care? But then, and I also like that he throws it at the end. Well, he kind of reminds me of you. Like, and at that point, he lets up.
Yeah, that was good.
It was really fun. I thought it was, from, like Gordon's point of view, like, Joe tells him to, move on without me. Like, it's too dangerous or something to that effect. But, I mean, I think Gordon's saying, I can't, because I don't know how long I'm gonna be on this planet. He's still got these brain issues.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good point, because I think that Gordon not only is really pissed at Donna right now for some reason. I don't really understand. Can someone shed some light on why he's so like snappy with Donna, but he's also like leaning harder on Joe during this time, and maybe he's just like, maybe this is my way back into having some control, is having that money that I'm going to get from Joe.
Just watching the season, because like I said, I wasn't really on this season. I just came on to do this one episode. I had to catch up, and when I saw the things, I thought first he was pissed at her about the camping revelation in that one episode. Yeah. And then the fact that she went ahead and forced Cameron's hand for the IPO, and he's begrudgingly supporting her because it's his wife.
But she was But she didn't, though, because she said that she was thinking about having to get everyone against Cameron, and then he went behind her back and was like, Cameron, look, she's going to do this. And I was like, Gordon,
I hate that he did that.
I hate that he did
shouldn't
that
have
too,
done that.
because I don't think Donna would have gone through with it unless she was pushed, and she wasn't pushed at the end. It was actually Gordon doing the pushing.
That's true.
I get so sassy with Gordon. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
not Team Gordon
No,
over there.
I love Scoot though.
Well,
Yeah.
however, Cameron's like actions also led up to that moment. Gordon's trying to do a solid by like what he thinks is his friend. Yes, he should stick with his wife. By the way, I got fellas out there. Make sure you do that.
He did though.
And he did stick with her, but I can see to your point that he didn't want to have to make that decision. I think because things were so heated in that room, they finally put it to a vote, which I don't think anyone necessarily wanted. But
Yeah, I don't think he was expecting that to happen when he confessed to.
yeah, because it seems like he's a character that doesn't really think that far ahead.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to double cross you. I think he'll do nothing with this information and probably just sleep on it and make a really wise decision, Cameron. That's what you do on this show,
Oh, yeah,
right?
Cameron, you always wait.
Yeah, she's not impulsive whatsoever.
not at all.
She'll probably go have a drink, relax, maybe get a foot massage. I don't know. No, man, she's going to turn that around and freak out. That's what she does.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about Donna, Boz, and Diane there. Now they're going to go for the IPO. I like that we're jumping like 3 months back and forth in this episode because it really shows like you can kind of see the outcome and like how they got there, that sort of thing. Can you guys talk about sort of editing the time jump, or was that sort of scripted out for you?
That was scripted.
Okay.
And those subtitles were put in there, so we knew where we were going.
Mm-hmm.
And but the IPO itself and cutting back and forth, that was that was editorial, but it was scripted that way. But
Mm-hmm.
we I feel like we kind of heightened that moment.
Yeah.
I always find it funny, like, okay, so it didn't open at 15. It was a failure to open at 5, and the dropping, and just feeling as I cut it, I was like, oh, my gut's falling out now. My stomach's just feeling sick for these people. But still, they made some money on that IPO.
Yeah.
It's just they're not millionaires. So.
Yeah, well, it seemed like they expected a whole lot more,
A whole
which
lot more.
in to Cameron's credit, this is kind of what she said. Like,
Yeah.
we shouldn't do this. And I was all Team Donna, and the rest of them like, let's do this already. Like, 1 to 2 more years seems like a long time for this to continue to develop, but obviously it wasn't.
I think Cameron and Joe are cut from the same crazy cloth, and
yeah.
I think that they both have impeccable taste, whether they're impulsive or not, which they are. I think that Cameron is extremely passionate about mutiny, or was, and I think that she kind of has the ability to maybe care too much, but she wants a product that's like undeniable, that she's like, you got this, you got this, you got this, you got this, and I know I'm the best, and shove it in your face. And Donna's like, well, it'll be great, let's go ahead. And she's like, but we don't want to just say it's great, we want it to be great first. We don't want to just say it. And I think that's business, right? It's like, do you miss the train, or do you lie about your business and say it's better than it is before all the things are fixed? It's got to be some compromise of that.
But if they had never moved to Silicon Valley, would Donna have taken on that type of persona? I always wonder that.
Yeah.
Like when they were in Texas, it seemed like she was more of a team player. Like she didn't have this
Right.
I don't think so.
aspiration to
Yeah.
go public right away, or I don't know what she got caught up in.
I think Donna feels pressure to like really perform now that her roles have been completely reversed since season 1, and she's not only the breadwinner, but she's like the mom to everyone. And
Right.
she's tired of being the mom to everyone, and she's like, man, if like we could just get a responsible team of like board of directors and like everything under here, that like
If we can get some adults in here, it'd be
get some
great.
adults in here, we can do that. Maybe that's what it was. She was like, let's get some adults in here.
Yeah, she's like, I'm gonna be the adult you want me to be. I'm the boss now.
Yeah.
And we're selling.
And like more people like Diane and Boss, like those are her people. She wants to be surrounded by.
Wants to be like Diane.
Yeah. No, even when she's in that hotel room with like the fancy robe, fancy Donna.
Fancy Donna.
I thought that she was like just kind of like living her like continued from like what a couple episodes ago, her sort of continued Diane fantasy there.
But I don't think it has to be a fantasy. I think that she can be Diane.
Yeah.
I think that she can be fancy Donna. She's currently a little bit tied down by Gordon, but not much. I mean, he's being a great stay-at-home dad. Her kids are happy. They live in Silicon Valley.
True. True. But also, like, there was like that still from the last episode, I think, where she said like something like like Cameron says to Donna, like, you're just riding the wave or something like that, or you're just tagging along. I'm not saying the line right, but there's something.
She insinuated that Donna didn't have anything to do with the technology of the company, even though Donna was managing the company pretty much on her own.
Right.
So she was cutting her one. She was being like, "Well, you don't actually do anything." So
Right.
Yeah.
That's
so
Cameron's go-to.
yeah.
Yeah, and so I get that she would have been so offended that, like, it's like, well, look, I'm the only one who can make confident decisions here, without sort of like pushing everyone out. So I don't know. I still see her as just like.
But Cameron does get it done.
Yeah, she does, just by herself in a dark room with no one else, which is not really a company.
She comes back, bam. Here's the solution.
True.
She does many great things. She
does.
just needs a partner to ground her.
She has a partner. She has a partner named Donna that she squeezes out all the time.
Well, Donna betrayed her
Tom
with the help
Rendon
of
is her
Gordon.
partner.
and she has Tom Rendon as her partner.
Tom is an enamored puppy who will be gone probably by the next episode. Calling it.
I don't know if that's true. She seems like pretty.
Calling it.
Well, okay, so she seems pretty like comfortable there at home watching the Pyramid and Little Evil Dead there, like.
She is not comfortable.
Well,
She's
okay,
miserable.
she's not miserable. She's at home creating games, female-powered games.
That's true. That's
Well,
true.
she turned in the 3 months in there, from
Yeah.
because she was like depressed and in bed, like most people would be if they'd been forced out of their job.
Decided to quit, not forced out.
She was yeah.
Yeah.
I think she was forced out.
I mean, she kind of put it out there like, well, I'm going to quit if you guys do this. I'm like,
Right.
okay,
She
well, we're
did.
going to do this. Well, then I'm going to
The
quit.
funny thing, and I really didn't even pay attention to it before, was when she was having the big meeting in the last episode, she said, "We're not ready. The Commodore 64 platform needs to be changed over." And then Diane, when she was trying to find excuses why the IPO didn't open properly, she goes, "Well, there's the Commodore issue." And I was like, "Oh my God, it's Cameron was right there." I mean, and Diane, who was for the IPO, brought that up as one of the excuses.
Yeah. Well, it's like, does Diane even know that? Or is she just like, I don't know, it's probably that
Well, she
thing that
doesn't
I heard Cameron say.
understand. Yeah, she doesn't understand tech. She's like, "Oh, you got the Commodore problem, probably." I mean, there are reasons.
Yeah.
You're still. I thought it was interesting though that Diane comforts Donna. We've never seen Donna do that before. I don't think we've never seen her kind of be like, "Oh, it's okay." I don't think we've seen her kind of be gentle with people before.
You mean Diane?
Diane, yeah,
Oh.
yeah,
Yeah.
She says
thought
it's
that
gonna
was
be
interesting.
fine.
yeah. Maybe it's because she was embarrassed. Do you think?
I mean, I guess her eggs are also in that basket too. Like, she's got a little stake in
She
it.
has to stay the cheerleader.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'm so used to seeing Boss
But-
do that.
But she also likes Donna.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, it was just interesting to see that, and poor Fancy Donna didn't last very long, but I liked it. Oh my gosh, when she was doing the interview for
Yeah, I was gonna say, what do we think about like that lady, the airhead like interviewer that just like cut her off every time she asked her a question.
she was like, "Sounds complicated," and she was like, "It's really not." Anyway, how do you buy shoes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, are you kidding me? Thank you for setting women back.
Well, and the irony is
Lord.
like two women start a company, which is probably more of a rare thing in 1986, and the woman interviewing her can only ask her about shoes.
Right. Well,
thought-
she wasn't interested in the tech talk for her morning show,
Yeah, I guess not. But it was like it was a moment for them to show some real like strength, and I mean, I guess she avoided the whole Cameron thing, so it seemed like we're just gonna talk about the company and like shoes, but seriously, shoes.
I actually was surprised that they didn't drill her about Cameron, because remember we saw her the last episode practicing kind of like, okay, what am I going to say about her so that I don't, say anything wrong about her, and we dodged that bullet, and then yet maybe do you think that the stock buying didn't go over well because the interview didn't really excite anyone, because this newscaster was just like, "So it's for shoes, cool," and then like the people with actual money were like, "We don't get it."
I don't think that. I mean, I don't know. I'm just supposing here, but that interview had probably a negligible effect on the IPO. It was happening that morning.
Okay.
She did the interview, and then it went public.
Okay.
So it was already priced. It was going to start low. Anyway.
I think a lot of tech companies started low in the 80s and 90s, though, before people realized what to do with it. Because, I mean, probably in 1986, no one was like, what's a computer? What is that?
People that stuck with Apple
Yeah.
did all right.
Yeah, but did Apple, like, start
it was
out really
low.
high?
I know in the 90s it was $8 a share.
Yeah, okay. Then, okay. So they were, like, on par with what a lot of tech
Kind of,
companies opened
yeah.
up with.
Sure.
Yeah.
Modest beginnings.
I don't know.
Well,
IPO talk.
I'm looking at you like,
No, but
you're
that's-
the expert on 1986. Clearly, I don't know.
Well, I am.
I mean, it's really interesting too. Also, like, I wish I had a time machine to go back and get some of those Apple stocks.
Yes.
I like that Boz in the room there is like, we could just tell the truth. Like,
Oh, yeah.
we could just, because that moment where Donna's like, what? Because she's like, and she like lists off like 5 things about Cameron being immature. He's like, well, that part I believed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that was wonderful. I love that Toby Huss is kind of always that guy, sort of talking sense to them. Also, we find out that his vote, because I was like, why did he vote against Cameron? Like, why did that happen? And he's like, well, it was under duress. But I feel like we got to find out more about that in the future. Anybody?
Maybe we will.
Maybe.
There's 2 episodes to go. So.
Kat, what do you know?
I can't tell.
Okay, fair enough.
I still feel like Boz made that vote in the best interest of what he thought in a panic about Cameron. I thought that if he voted, she'd be like mad for 2 days and then come around. I think I still think that he somehow did it in her best interest. I don't think, even if it was a mistake, he did it to spite her. I think he did it to like try to get her to come around some way, and it didn't work.
Yeah, well, we'll yet to see.
Maybe we'll find out.
If it will turn out. That moment with Donna sitting on the bed there in her hotel room and just alone, breaking down. That was
So good.
That was the moment that got me the most in this episode. I thought, like,
It gave me a panic attack watching her struggle to breathe.
just break
Did
down.
you get that while you were editing
no,
it? I was
yeah.
like,
I mean, that was, we called that the hyperventilating take, because she gave other options like a crying take or a more stoic version, but that was the take everybody loved most.
Oh yeah.
Because it's really hard to recreate that as an actor, I would think,
Yeah.
just to have that moment. So
Yeah. When it sort of also mirrors Cameron in the last episode when she found out that the company was kind of being taken away from her. She kind of had the same sort of like can't breathe sort of moment
Right.
there, which I just thought was wonderful. What can you guys talk about some of the other takes? I mean, you said there was a crying one.
a crying one and then a more calm take. I mean, there were 3. Those were really long takes. So
Okay.
and maybe there were more, but that's what I remember.
They were all good.
Yeah, they
Good
were all-
choices.
Yeah.
Good
Just which
options.
one to go with.
That's
I
awesome.
can't imagine like trying to pick good footage for those actors. Like every take is, I'm sure, just
Oh yeah.
like Lee Pace. Are you
Yeah,
kidding me?
He's quite good.
I would
Scoot is
just,
awesome.
I would want to watch
Donna,
every
I
single
mean,
one.
Yeah, Carrie is amazing.
Amazing.
Just yeah.
I saw a tweet the other day that was like, someone was upset about the Emmys and was like, this stuff gets nominated, and over here, Carrie Bichet's over here on Halt Catch Fire. I refuse. And they were like, I was like, okay, someone's watching Halt. That's funny.
I really wish it was seen by a bigger audience, because they really do great work. They should be recognized for their.
Well, the going joke is you either love it or you haven't seen it. For Halt.
I like that. I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, I don't know anyone who has seen Halt Catch Fire and
Who
isn't
hasn't
like,
loved
this
it,
show
yeah.
is insane. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, there's there's times where like, I mean, obviously I know a lot of these actors from different things. Like Scoot and Carrie were like husband and wife in was it Munich
Argo.
or Argo? Yeah, Argo.
Yeah.
And then like we've seen like Lee Pace all over our like movie screen and whatnot. But it's like I forget these aren't real people a lot of the time. I feel like especially like that stuff between Gordon and Joe where they're talking to each other and he's trying to find out if like did he put Ryan up to it and all that. It's like, all right, these guys are actors like in a room. Like I don't know, it's just wonderful stuff. Let's see. So let's talk about Donna and Cameron. We kind of been talking about the 2 of them, but
Do you care to explain your boy, Gordon?
do I care to explain him hanging up on her?
Yes,
or-
and being snappy in his cute little Han Solo outfit.
I mean, one, that's what Han would do. I mean, he wouldn't take any of that sort of thing
Yeah, it
from
was just Han.
a lady. He's in character there at that moment. Haley was an Ewok, and the other one was what again?
Joan Montana.
Joe.
So she had like a pink football. We didn't see the wide shot where you could really see that well,
Okay.
but yeah, those two girls are really cute and they're really good
Oh, yeah.
actresses too. And I'm just watching them grow over the 3 seasons was nice. It was Alana Kavanaugh is Haley and Morgan Hinkleman. Is that right? I think so. Yeah.
That sounds right to me. Yeah, well, it's been interesting too, just because they've like gotten more and more like each season. And obviously they've grown up a little bit too. But it's like, oh, it's great to see like Gordon being a dad with his girls there. You know,
He does surprisingly well for somebody as nervous as he kind of comes off as his character. He's great with the girls.
Yeah.
And if you notice, it was subtle, but he was having hand trouble. Maybe that's the reason he hung up.
Oh, I didn't
When he
notice
was
that.
doing the ponytail for Joni, he started doing this with his hand and was having trouble like making a fist. So
I didn't notice.
Yeah.
you go back and watch that.
I will.
I hope that was the reason, because it did seem like, sounds like you got it, hon. Goodbye. Boom. Hangs up on me. Like, I got stuff to do. There was a moment with Cameron. I'm trying to remember exactly where it was, but there was like that sort of like sound that Gordon hears a lot. It's like the sort of high frequency
That was when
sound.
she was in bed.
Okay,
and rolled
yeah.
over after Tom left.
Was that at all?
Yeah, can you guys talk about that choice?
Supposed to
Because
be-
there's a high-pitched ringing noise when something happens for a few characters, and I don't
Yeah.
know what it's trying to signify.
We did that in the second season as well. There we did that high pitched,
Okay.
and it was for Cameron right before she had a panic attack.
Okay.
So maybe it wasn't connected necessarily in this episode, but it was to like kind of.
I
show-
wasn't on the mix stage, unfortunately, so I missed why they were doing that. Except
Okay.
we had it in our temp. We added some. It was more of
No,
a
it was-
roar.
yeah.
But it was not a. It was a high. It wasn't the high pitched noise. It was more of a. Wasn't it kind of a rising?
No,
roar?
it was a tone that we put to just like to show that she's kind of going, not crazy, but she's bored and like
kinda losing
something's
it.
bothering her and she has to get out of bed.
And it also makes
Oh.
a nice cut to when she's up and walking into the living room to watch the TV. It makes a nice transition there as
Okay.
well. Sound
Okay.
transition.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was like because her and Gordon had a bond, and I thought maybe not obviously doesn't have the same issue, but I thought maybe it was to just sort of like sonically tie them together. In
I
some
don't
way.
know that.
Well, that's my theory. That's what I would have done had I been an editor. Good thing I'm not. I'm not any good at that stuff. There was one more thing to talk about, and I can't remember. So now you're just hearing my thoughts. Let's talk to you two. You guys have been an editing team or edited together before. You were editing Halt in last year, but you were someone else's assistant. Correct. But then the two of you got together for a show, I believe, called Stranger Things.
Just a little.
I don't think anybody's watching. Maybe you can
No.
tell us about that.
Well, it's funny because tomorrow is the anniversary of when we flew to Atlanta to start Stranger Things. So
Oh, is that where you guys met on Stranger Things?
no, we met on Halt Catch Fire.
Oh,
the year
okay.
before. Yeah, and so for the past year we've been working together. We did Stranger Things, and then we went and did this one episode of Halt Catch Fire, and right now we're on an NBC show called Taken.
Okay, great.
So, and then in later this fall we'll go back hopefully to Stranger Things 2. So season 2.
Well, I hope you'll spill all the beans to me about that. I loved Stranger Things. I thought it was an
Sure.
amazing
Here, let me
show.
tell you everything.
Yeah.
else.
So 11's back on Stranger Things too.
I have no idea. I haven't even read a script. So I don't know.
Yeah, I actually did the Intruders after show for a BBC show that Millie was on, and we had her in as a guest.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
And it took
she
me
came
till
in here?
and it took me till the third episode to realize it was the same person because she's older and her head was shaved, and I thought, oh, Millie Bobby Brown. I wonder who she is on the show. Oh, she's like the lead of the.
And it
whole
was
thing.
supposedly it was Stephen King tweeting about that Intruders show that brought
No
Millie
way.
to the to light with the Duffer Brothers.
isn't that cool? I love hearing how people find actors.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
like, oh, I saw you in this little. We were speaking with the actor Joshua Brady who played Robot, and he was like, yeah, it's so crazy how I got brought in for the show. They saw me I ended up getting my manager because they saw this tiny little thing that I did, and someone told him about it, and I was like, and that's just how it happens. Is someone sees this obscure, not really obscure,
Yeah.
but this random thing, and then they bring attention to it, and then they get brought in for the project that obviously they're meant to play.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah,
love
and
that.
she was great on Intruders, and she was like one of the leads of that show too. That was Glenn Morgan, who was a writer on the X-Files back in the day.
Gotcha.
So He wrote that show. Did you guys know that Stranger Things was going to be like such a big thing when you're editing it? I mean,
No.
assuming that you liked it while you're doing it.
Loved it. Was very proud of it when we finished it, but we had no idea it was going to take off like it did. We were hoping people would watch it, and
Well, you also never know what
Netflix.
Netflix is going to advertise, right?
No, and Netflix doesn't advertise till a month before. So
Like some things that
They
they
don't
do
need
get
to.
billboards, some don't.
and we got billboards.
Oh,
before,
yeah, but
but it was just
how
1
would you
month
know?
out.
Yeah.
So we weren't seeing trailers or anything for it early. And I was like, oh no, is anybody going to watch this?
we have some people that are watching us live in the YouTube chat. For those of you who are listening on the podcast, that are saying that would be one heck of a crossover episode.
Oh, yeah.
Halt and Catch Fire and Stranger Things.
And
Make it
you were
happen.
saying that there's some actor crossover, yeah.
There's multiple actors actually. Two of the coders from Halt and Catch Fire were in Stranger Things. One is Randy Havens, who plays the science teacher Mr. Clark on Stranger Things.
Right.
A breakout role for him. I mean, it was great.
Very cool.
But he was also the coder Stan.
Yep.
Who in season 2, Gordon goes and breaks into his garage.
Yes.
That was,
Yeah.
And he was
Oh
in
my gosh,
season
yeah,
1,
yeah, yeah.
season 2. And then also his buddy, and I can't remember what his character name was on Halt Catch Fire. I think it was Ed. I want to say it was Ed. But he was another coder that came and helped Gordon build things in the garage.
Build the original computer that they were doing for
and
Cardiff.
his name's Pete Burris, the actor,
Yep.
and he was the chief of security in Stranger Things. and then just a few episodes ago on *Halt and Catch Fire* was the Connie, the blonde woman, who from
The realtor.
the realtor on *Halt and Catch Fire* was in Stranger Things. Now the strange thing is that one of the writers from Stranger Things was also a writer on *Halt and Catch Fire* and wrote this episode, Alison Tatlock. So she wrote both. So I thought, oh, that's really cool.
A lot of crossover here. We're one step away from a crossover episode.
It could happen.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I'm going to hold my breath for that. Let's jump into some quick news and gossip before we get out of here.
Yeah.
Very short on time. Spider-Man 3 has finished filming principal photography, and I bring that up because of Jonah Xiao, who's on *Halt and Catch Fire* this season, is in that movie. Also, speaking of Jonah, she was just cast in Being Mary Jane. She's got like 4 episodes. This girl
awesome.
can't stop working. It's lovely to see our coder's still out there with a job, hopefully on season 4
Being
of
Mary
*Halt and Catch
Jane
Fire*
is a
2.
surprisingly good show.
I don't know
I
anything
caught
about
an
it.
episode of it and I was like, whoa, it was kind of like *Halt and Catch Fire*. I was like, why is no one watching this? This is really good. I haven't heard anything about this show.
Very cool.
So being Mary Jane, guys, check it out.
She's got 4 episodes coming up and possibly more. So, like, the hits
for
keep
her.
on coming for Jonah.
Yeah.
The hits keep on coming.
Oh,
hit
punch in the face.
him in the face. Okay, we're
I'm there
done.
with you.
Predictions. Here we
Oh, I
go.
was going to say, the next episode of *Halt* is directed by the creator, Chris Cantwell. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Here's your predictions. Sorry.
No, please.
I predict that's going to be a great episode, and maybe we'll see them here next week. Maybe? No? Okay, probably not. We did try to get them. Kevin was a great guest, and he's trying to get everybody to come on this show, but fortunately they're busy
They're
working.
a little busy
Yeah.
making a wonderful show.
Yeah, they are.
And
So
next week is going to be a double episode of
it is going to be a
*Halt
double
and Catch
episode.
Fire*. So it will be the finale.
So what you got, Amber? What your predictions is?
I what did I say earlier when I said I thought when I was like, oh, I'm calling it with
Cameron, Tom.
Oh, Cameron and Tom. I think this is the last. I think we're going to wrap up Tom's storyline here. I think Tom's going to be gone real soon. I think we see there. I think even that shot of showing her kind of losing it near the closet and him being like, what? Like in the kitchen, like shows like how disconnected they are. And like, I love Tom. He's very sweet, very cute. I really like him. I don't think that Cameron is making him happy. I don't think that Cameron is happy. I don't think Cameron's ready for a relationship right now outside of Joe, which I would always be okay for. Please
Really?
make
You
that
never
happen.
mentioned that on the show.
Just love it. When Joe showed up, I was like, yes. She was like, ooh, my Batman. I was like, yes, please.
He made the Batman joke, which was lovely.
It was great. It was great. It was great for me. I hope it was great for you.
It was great. It would have been cool if he said like Ronin or something because he played Ronin, which would have been impossible for him to predict, or be that age at the same year. Anyway, I digress. I don't know. Are they going to move to Japan? I'm kind of like.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like it seems like in a large way, if we don't get a season 4, like this is the characters going off to kind of like, look, we're just breaking the band up. We're going to go do our own thing. So I could see that happening, but at the same time,
I'd love to see them in Tokyo, low key.
yeah.
Would love
Yeah,
to
it would
see
be
that.
cool, but it just kind of seems like if they're going to end the show, it kind of seems like everybody gives up and does their own thing. Something like that, maybe. But I hope not, because I really want another season of this show. This
Me
is
too.
the writing is so sharp, and the editing, of course, as well, is very good.
And the shots are beautiful. And
Yeah.
The actors are amazing.
Yeah, please
You guys,
don't.
get all of your family to
Please
watch the
don't end
show.
it.
It's so good.
Yeah, oh my
Yes,
gosh.
please.
I don't know. Joe's still finding himself. I see him just like giving up on the whole thing,
But we
would
saw
that
that at the
do to
beginning
Gordon?
of season 2 where he kind of went granola and grew his beard and decided he was going to take a little break. Joe's going to take a break.
sure.
Cameron is going to break. And I think somehow they're going to end up back together. And
Oh,
that
please
has been
don't
my
hurt
prediction.
Tom. Please don't hurt Tom.
Tom is getting hurt.
Okay, what's your prediction
There's
about
no way.
Gordon?
There's no
and
way around
Donna?
that. Gordon and Donna, I think, are in a position to break up, but I don't want them to.
I still feel like he's got to learn about her secret. It's the one thing that he doesn't know about
Yeah.
from last season. But I don't know. There's only 2 episodes left. Maybe.
If they don't drop that bomb next episode, I guess that's a storyline fizzled out that I'll be sad will have been missed.
Is there anything that you guys can safely predict without losing your jobs?
No. That job's over, but no.
There could be a season 4.
That's true.
Well, thanks so much, guys, for joining us
Thanks
today.
for
This
having us.
was wonderful. Remind the people where they can find you on the onlines, Kat.
Oh, I'm on Instagram at catn08.
CatN08.
And I'm on Twitter at Ross Films.
Amber Plaster, where can people find you?
Thanks for joining us, guys. My name is Amber Plaster. You guys can tweet me at Amber Plaster.
Yes, and you can follow me on Twitter at Isaac Johnson or Instagram, the Isaac Johnson. Leave us a comment down below on the YouTube. Let us know what you thought of these wonderful people. We love them. I know you love them too. We'd love to talk with you down there, and we will see you next week for a double episode. Don't miss it.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.